a warm welcome to this memorial lecture in the memory of our Central Council member and past chairman WIRC, C. Sunil Patodia. Before we could start, may I request, I would like to recognize Vice President Aniket Talati ji with us, past President Prafulla Chhajet sir, Sanjeev Maheshwari, past chairman, Lalit Bajaj, past chairman, my colleagues in the council, the chairman of WRC, Manish Gadia, vice chairperson Dushti madam, and treasurer Jayesh bhai. Before we could start, may I request everyone to please put your hands on your heart for the ICI motto song.
Yaesha supteshu jagrati Yaesha supteshu jagrati Kamam 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 Purusho nirmimanaha Tadeva shukram Tada brahma Tadeva amritamuchyate Tasmin lokaha shataha Sarve tadunatyati kaschan Etadvaita
Thank you, everyone. Thank you each. Thank you all the dignitaries present here for taking your time for this wonderful event for us. Before I could start off, let me first invite Dushti Desai madam, the vice chairperson WRC, to please share her views and address the gathering.
Thank you, Arpit. So first of all, we know this memorial lecture is kept in memory of our dear and respected Shri Patodia ji. His presence was such a support to all of us, and today his loss is greatly felt by everyone. Everybody remembers him for his philanthropic nature and a straightforward, approach to even, talking and dealing with people. So it's a great loss that we have suffered. We have no words to, express our grief, and everybody would like to say something or the other. There'll be thousands of people who would want to say or share their thoughts. I don't want to take away too much time. We have with us his dear friend and our past chairman Prafulla Chhajet sir, and B.M. Agarwal sir also with us, and VP sir with us. So with this, I think with this little note that we are going to miss him, I hand it over back to you, Arpit.
Thank you, Dushti madam. May I now request the chairman WRC, Manish bhai, to please share his views.
Thank you, Arpit. I consider myself extremely privileged to have experienced the warmth, wisdom, and friendship of ever-smiling Sunil Patodia ji in my life. He is a true Karma Yogi. He spoke less, but his tremendous achievement shows us what can be achieved through passion and single-minded purpose. During his tenure as WIRC chairman in 2015-16, WIRC got not only Best Region Award but also the Best Student Association Award. He was not only the profession, he selflessly gave his time and knowledge to numerous causes and foundations. As Dushti Madam has said, he was very philanthropic and very much involved into a charity also. He was contributing member of Lions Club, Rajasthan Education Foundation, founder member of RVG Alumni, Bharat Vikas Parishad, All India West Federation, Mumbai Pradesh Jhunjhunu Pragati Sangh, Rajputana Shiksha Mandal, Indian Merchant Chamber, and the list is very, very, very long. We are deeply saddened by his sudden passing and take inspiration from his life to emulate and put into practice his tremendous selflessness and determination to contribute for the betterment of the profession and society through his action. He showed that he was a true partner to the nation building. So thank you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you, Manish bhai. Rightly mentioned, the words that you always used, be a game changer. As a young chartered accountant and budding professional, we all idolize him and really look up to him as a perfect role model in various abilities. May I now request past chairman WRC, CA BM Agarwal sir, to please share his views.
मेरे दोस्तों, मेरे भाइयों, मेरे कलीग्स प्लस सुनील पाटोदिया का मैं कहता हूँ कि वो एक परिवार का मेंबर था, दोस्त, वो सबका दोस्त था। ने हर आदमी के लिए काम किया, चाहे वो सीए हो, नॉन सीए हो, कोई भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हो, कोई भी व्यक्ति उस पर कहीं से गांव से कहीं से आता था। मेरे नॉलेज में आज तक उसने किसी चीज किसी आदमी को, चाहे परिचित हो चाहे अपरिचित हो, मना नहीं किया। ऐसे आदमी का इस असमय चले जाना प्रोफेशन के लिए ही नहीं, समाज के लिए, पूरे परिवार के लिए बहुत ही दुख का विषय है। और भगवान उसकी आत्मा को शांति दे। तो मैं ज्यादा कुछ बोल नहीं पाऊंगा, बस मेरा इतना विनती कि हम सब प्रार्थना करें कि वो और उसके परिवार वाले हमेशा खुश रहें। धन्यवाद।
मैंने ज्वाइन नहीं किया अभी तक बॉस।
Thank you, sir. Thank you, BM sir. I'm sure these are very tough times, and I would request, please stay strong, so that people who look up to you would also stay strong. May I now request past chairman of WRC and past Central Council member, C. Sanjeev Maheshwari sir, to please share his views.
Friends, this has been an extremely unfortunate and a tragic loss, not only to the CA profession, to the society at large, but I think all of us on a very personal level. I am too shocked and saddened such an early demise of CA Sunil Patodia. A story which has ended far too early. A young life has been nipped in the bud. Sunil was known to me for more than 2 decades. More than a friend, he was a brother to me. I believe his interaction with every professional would have left him with the same feeling, that his friendship was very, very personalized and close to every individual. People, professionals I have met across the country who have interacted with Sunil have always felt that Sunil is a person with whom you could approach, interact, and find a solution with very, very regularly. Sunil had been an ever smiling, affable person, friendly, easy to approach, and a soft-mannered personality. He had this ability to make every person feel extremely comfortable. He had a charisma of his own, by which everyone was attracted to his friendship. I think very importantly, he had always had an air of positivity around him. Never ever I have seen him speaking negative about anything. You go to him and he would have a solution to every possible problem which people would go up to him with. And it was not even necessary for somebody to be knowing Sunil personally to go to him for any solution. It could be your known person, it could be a connected person, or even if it could have been an unconnected person. Anybody who approached Sunil, Sunil was always there to help him. In fact, his philanthropic approach and his contribution to the profession is unparalleled. I had an opportunity of working collaboratively with him on several projects at ICI. His unstinted support to the professionals as well as student fraternity was remarkable. He was also actively involved in various social organizations and it had this ability to make friends all across and well-wishers all across. God has his own way of dealing with some of the best persons on this earth, and maybe he had needed Sunil, people like Sunil or soul like Sunil to be with him. I pray to the Almighty to give solace to this soul and strength to his family to bear this irreparable loss. Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Shanti.
I also recognize the presence of our speaker, our faculty for today, Senior Art of Living faculty, Vasudha Jhunjhunwala, fondly called as Vasudha Didi. Welcome, Didi. May I now request past chairman C. Lalit Bajaj to please share his views.
Sunil ji, I have been knowing him since couple of decades, and I think so. He was a man of big heart, a man with a kind gesture in any scenario, whichever we can predict. Any person used to think loudly about him as to whenever he was thinking about any issue, Sunil ji was the one person who was with a solution on any of the issue. So from the bottom of my heart, I feel that we all will miss and in future, but I think so his family and his near and dear ones might be really broken apart because of this loss. I feel we should all stand together and be as a pillar of strength for Sunilji's near and dear ones, his family members and his close friends and associate, and by whichever means, by whatever means you all leaders can really stand with them. I think so that will be a great mark of support from all of us. I stand with you in this process, and I believe that we will really in future ensure that he is really remembered in a best way, whatever is possible for the professional fraternity. Thank you. Om Shanti.
I now request past president C. Prafula Chajat sir, a very dear friend of Sunil ji and also a mentor to all of us, to please share his views.
Thank you so much. Today is very unfortunate day when I have to speak in memory of my dearest friend C.S. Sunil Patodia. I have lots and lots of memories with him, but today I am addressing in a memorial lecture. It is really painful day. I haven't lost a friend. In fact, I lost my soulmate. Someone who understood me more than I understand myself. Someone who actually cared for me. Someone who was always next to me. He never had any ego. He never had his self-interest. My own personal happiness and friends like me, their happiness was the first thing which Sunil will get, happiness from. I know I'm not going to see him face to face again. I won't hear his voice. I won't be beneficial by his, very positive advice on all matters. He was actually friend, philosopher, guide, mentor to me, even though just by a couple of years he was junior to me. But the vision, the humbleness, the positivity which he had were the guiding force in my journey, not only in my personal life, but also in my professional life. And I'm quite sure the same message, the same feeling, everybody who has touched him, who has met him, be it on a professional front or be it on a personal front, must be experiencing today. One thing is very sure, again in this life, I'm not going to get a friend like him. Positivity, humbleness, integrity, commitment, honesty, sincerity, always helpful, caring, always smiling. The list is so big. And in fact, all these qualities were in one person, and that person was C.S. Sunil Patodia. I have very, today we are talking on the WRC platform. So let me also briefly mention when I met him for the first time after his election to the WRC. Unfortunately, I had a privilege to work with him as I was the chairman of the WRC in the year 2007-8, and dear Sunil became the secretary. And being the chairman and secretary together, we had lot of experience sharing, lot of vision sharing, and lot of commitment, which is for the cause of the profession. And each and every activity for each and every days, those days were centric towards for the benefit of members and students. In fact, students were at his heart, because he always used to say, "Chalo member ban gaye, kuch to ho gaya," but students need a lot of guidance. Subsequently, he became the WRC chairman. Again, in his own way, he carried the activities along with the team WRC in the most befitting manner, so that our entire profession is having the due credit for our activities. Recently, in this Central Council election, he got elected to the Central Council, but we never knew that he could attend only one meeting of the Central Council. And I think this is the very big loss to the profession, because personally, as I said, many of us, rather all of us, will miss him. But even profession has lost a great visionary, a person with lot of commitment, lot of integrity, lot of ethical values, and always dreamt about good for the profession. So even his term in the Central Council was only for a few days officially, but even when I speak to his colleagues who met him for the first time during these Central Council meetings, etc., even they are feeling very sorrow about his missing him and all those things. As I was mentioning, the students were in his heart always. He was always actively contributing for all student activities, and special contribution, his activities in the RVG hostel, the Vasai hostel of the ICI, and list is again big. Apart from this, see, today when we are having a memorial lecture, I think whatever personal loss is there, but at the same time, the person in whose memory we are having this memorial lecture, we must understand some of his qualities. So on one hand, when he was expanding his professional activities, other side he was also expanding and generously contributing for the social causes. Only few of us know that recently he has signed one MOU with the Kalinga Institute of Management, wherein in this Wada region, which is a tribal region, they wanted to build a residential school for the tribal students, for 5,000 of them. Entire residential facilities, no fees will be charged to the students, etc. And that was the dream which Sunil had seen, and in fact he has signed the MOU also maybe last month only with that Kalinga Institute of Management. So list is really big. I am really short of words, but again, since this is a memorial lecture, my request to all of you and all of us, that whatever the qualities, the excellent human being the Sunil was, even if we are able to take out of this memorial lecture, that will be a great. Again, life has to go on, life has to move on, and today we are going to hear some of the facts of the life from the senior faculty from the Art of Living Foundation. And I'm quite sure, because everybody has to face these challenges. Today he was near and dear to me, but somewhere other this life is so hard to every one of us, each one of us. So let us hear from the faculty of the Art of Living that how we can balance our mind, everybody's mind in shock. Once again, my sincere homage, my prayer to the Almighty, and I'm quite sure even Almighty must be wanting him to. Sometimes I feel कि भगवान के भी कुछ काम अधूरे हैं, and they wanted him to be there with them to finish, because on Sunil's table there used to be never a single piece of paper. His table used to be always clean in spite of having so many achievements. So with this fond memories of my dear Sunil, Sunil Patodia ji, ex Central Council member, past chairman of WRC. I once again pray Almighty that the choicest of blessings of the Almighty be showered on him. Om Shanti.
Thank you, sir. I rightly mentioned, sir, today's lecture would be a befitting tribute to the stressful lives that we are living in, and probably learn from these, personalities. Sunilji would keep us inspiring, whether he's there or not there. So I think it would be a perfect tribute. It's a great honor for us. WRC, a member of WRC, is now elected as the vice president. But what an irony that the first time as a VP, if he's addressing in this very event. Although I'm happy, but at the same time I'm sad that our VP would be addressing first time here in this memory lecture of a colleague whom they've just met in the council. May I now request C. Aniket Talati ji, Vice President ICI, to please share his views.
Thank you. Thank you, Arvind ji. Respected past President Praful Bhai and the entire team of WRC. First of all, let me thank you for organizing this memorial lecture for our very own CS Sunil Patodia ji, and that too at such a short notice. Sometimes it is opportunities like this that give us the chance to lighten our heart, to remember more importantly what lessons we can learn from the life of Sunil Patodia ji. Because like Arpit, you mentioned, even I would have always preferred to come at some other joyous occasion. But I think it's very appropriate for us also today on this memorial lecture to understand the life lessons that we've learned from Sunil Patodia ji, and how all of us who are here speaking, those who are participating, and membership at large can take the right qualities from him so that we can all improve as professionals and persons. I think the words that have been used for him, the adjectives that have described him by all the previous speakers, a philanthropist, definitely always available, not just to the profession, but any member of the society. Game changer, truly was in every single thing that he did. He used to think of all the problems in a very different manner. I can only give my experiences with him. I have myself personally known him for over 15 years now. When I was at the Ahmedabad branch, I had the opportunity to work with him when he was the WIRC. And he would always talk about how you look at things differently, how you can change the rules of the game. When I met him after he got elected to the Central Council, I think one distinct memory I have is he never said, I want to do this or what I will do. He always says, what we will do for members, and more importantly, what can we do for our students. I think he was a game changer in true sense. B.M. Agarwal ji mentioned he was a dost for all, definitely a yaro ka yar, and who better than Praful Bhai and B.M. Agarwal ji to pay tribute to him. I think their friendship has been known across the region, across the country, and I salute the relationship that you have able to build, and I think the example, sir, that you have set for society at large. Sanjeev Bhai mentioned a very important word, positive, and I think that is one thing which always radiated when one met Sunil Patodia ji. I have never in my life seen him maybe with a sad or a dull face, always smiling, always welcoming, and always positive. I think words started to be reflected of Rabindranath Tagore ji, who mentioned that death is not extinguishing the light. It is putting out the lamp because the dawn has come. And I think it is important for all of us also to understand that we may have lost Sunil Patodia ji, the person, but the soul, his preachings, the values that he lived by, the hundreds and thousands of people that he touched and inspired, which we could all see on the cremation or other aspects of his death. So many people have sent so many messages and have been physically present. I think we will all appreciate it is not possible for anybody to gather this kind of love, affection, and gathering without having touched people personally. And I think that was the larger than life persona that Sunil Patodia ji carried. I think it is not just a loss for society, but particularly a loss for our profession and for the 25th council, of which he was a very important part. I think all of us in the council, and I speak for the president and myself, were so eagerly looking forward to working with him. His energy, his enthusiasm, his resources, and more importantly, the noble soul and the heart that he carried. I think we were all keen how we can utilize that for the benefit of members and students. But today I can only assure that let us all amongst ourselves resolve that we will ensure that these values that have inspired so many people, and in particular our profession, we try and imbibe them. This memorial lecture is one such way of doing this. We must keep doing this annually so that every year we're able to go back and remember about what Sunil Patodia ji inspired us from. And I think his very famous quote when he was chairman of WIRC, which I remember today, and which I sincerely believe he lived by throughout his life. He used to say, "Swasth raho, stay healthy, vyast raho, stay busy, mast raho, stay happy." I think he was one person who practiced it. Never saw him miss a morning walk, never saw him eat more than maybe one chapati a day. Always we are trying not just his professional activities, but trying to help and solve members, students, all the migrant students who came to Mumbai, always available to help them, to get them accommodation in RBG or other philanthropic activities that he was involved in, and truly lived a Musk life, always smiling, always happy. Let's try and imbibe these values of him as we have this memorial lecture. And I'm sure that Vasudha ji and the Art of Living will be able to give us some motivation of how we are able to come out of this grief, imbibe these values in us. I once again pay my homage and respect to the wonderful soul of Sunil Patodia ji. My condolences to the bereaved family, and let us all pray that his soul rests in peace and is always over us as a guiding light. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, VP sir. So we would this is the part where would we now move on towards our lecture, towards our small little learnings that we could imbibe in. And as rightly mentioned by the VP sir and past president sir, we really need to imbibe these values, get a course correction, and see how can we really improve our lives and do the max out of it. May I now request my colleague treasurer Jayesh Kala to please introduce Vasudha Didi for all of us.
Thank you, Arpit. A very tough time, and really, as Aniket Bhai has told, the golden words "swasth raho, mast raho." It's really echoing daily. जब भी उठता हूँ, मोबाइल देखते हैं, एक हमेशा एक आवाज कान में गूंजती है, स्वस्थ रहो, मस्त रहो. Be a game changer. Wherever you are socially active, emotionally friendlier. What there are no words to express him. I remember a incident which has happened to me. I had some people to go to Mathiran to his hotel. I just asked him कि sir ऐसा है, ये जाना चाहते हैं. तो his first word was तेरा ही होटल है, तू बोल कब जाना है, कैसे जाना है, किसको भेजना है. But this was the thing. He did not wanted to know कौन जा रहा है. बोले कि you have told him, so he is a guest of mine. You just send him. All arrangement will be done. And it was fabulous arrangement what he has made. ये सारी चीजें अभी रह के याद आती और believe करने को मन नहीं कर रहा है कि he is no more with us. But as things say, we have to accept the reality, and we have to move ahead in life. Vasudha ji she is a meditator for over 25 years, an ardent social worker, faculty at the Art of Living Foundation, and entrepreneur, a Deshbhakt passionate towards empowering young India. She has worked with lakhs of youth via different courses and service projects, and is dedicated, focused on improving the quality of the youth by upskilling, mentoring, and training them with the help of multiple workshops, seminars, and youth club. The best part about conducting any course of seminar is how deeply it impacts the mind of the participants. The experience they share after every session help Vasudha ji to interact with more and more such people with the powerful session and courses. Over the years, she has been extremely privileged to have gotten the opportunity to serve the country via numerous service initiatives and projects, including but not limited to various projects she has done. She has been passionate towards working for youth because of her strong belief that they are the real backbone of any country. If you wish to see the country flourishing, the youth needs to be trained and empowered. For nearly a decade, she has been working diligently in this area. The power of meditation and yoga has been instrumental for all the progress that has been possible in her life. She owes a lot of to the Art of Living Foundation, founded by Sri Ravi Shankar ji, as it offered a platform for interest in social work and philanthropy. Gurudev, who is a world humanitarian leader, has been a strong driving force behind all the service initiatives that she has been taking. She has been a privileged recipient of CSO 2014 award by the late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir, a day that is still fresh in her memories till today. I would request Vasudha ji to kindly take on the session, guide the participants as to how to cope up with the stress and how to overcome the grief. Thank you. Over to you, Vasudha ji.
We can't hear you, Vasudha ji.
Am I audible?
Perfect. Yes.
So we'll just start with a small prayer. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Shri Gurave Namaha. May all hearts grow in peace. May there be happiness. May truth guide us. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So scriptures, as they say, chantings have a power to give solace to hearts. So I request everyone together today to, along with me, do a little chanting. When you remember the departed and you pray with this chant, it will surely bring peace. Yeah? So can we all chant together? Arpit? So we will today do a chanting followed by a meditation. Maybe some of us have never meditated. Maybe some of us are in our office space or other places. It is a good time that we just take a break. You know, there is some emptiness in the heart that we are experiencing. There is a certain pain and sorrow which is very obvious that we are experiencing in this moment of loss. Let us together move into silence, and from that place, when we bless the soul, it definitely reaches the soul. That's what the scriptures say. So once we do the chantings, followed by that, we will do a short meditation. So let us close our eyes. सभी आंखें बंद कर ले, आराम से बैठ जाएं, जहां भी हैं, ऑफिस में हैं, घर पे हैं, कुछ समय के लिए ऐसा कि सब अलग छोड़ दिया, बहुत सारे कार्य करने हैं, बहुत सारी जिम्मेदारियां निभानी है, बहुत कुछ हुआ है हमारे जीवन में, अभी हम बहुत कुछ अनुभव कर रहे हैं, उन सब को एक बार के लिए हम एक तरफ रख के आंख बंद करके कुछ देर ध्यान करेंगे. So we will first do chantings followed by a meditation. And in that space, from that space, when we bless the departed soul, it will definitely reach. Your prayers will reach him. So let's close our eyes. Aankhein band kar le. We will do slow Om Namashivaya chantings together. Let's breathe in. So you may repeat just the way I'm chanting it. You may repeat with me. Breathe in. And relax. Take a breath in, take a deep breath in, and breathe out. The body is made of 5 elements. First is the earth element, the skin, the tissues, the muscles, the bones. All of this comprise of the earth element. The earth element moves back to the earth from which it comes. The food we eat, the cells which are formed by that food, it's all earth. And it dissolves back in that earth. Breathe in and breathe out. The water element. All the digestive juices, the blood, all the fluid in the body, almost 70% comprises of the water element. The water merges with the water. Breathe in and breathe out. The fire element. There is heat in the body which is making everything work. There is heat in the mind. The eyes which see is through fire. The food that gets digested is through fire. And the fire dissolves into the fire from where it comes back to us. Breathe in, breathe out and relax. The air element. The breath in the body, or the prana that we call life, is moving in and out. It is the air element which is making the fluid in the body pump up and down. The air dissolves in the air. Breathe in, breathe out and relax. The space element. It is because of space in the body that all the other four elements are residing in it. The nostrils are hollow and empty. The air pipes, the veins. There is a lot of empty space inside our body. In every cell, there is space element. It is only because of space that other elements are functional. The inner space is one with the outer space. Breathe in. Breathe out. Beyond these elements, there is a witness. Who's feeling, watching, hearing. The witness, the Atman, the energy, which remains here. We are made of that. We have been here forever as that. Even after the five elements dissolve, we remain here like that. I am immortal. I am peace. I am love. The repeated cycles of birth and death do not touch me. Like we change clothes, I have born into different forms. I have played different roles, and I continue to do that. Breathe in and breathe out. Let's pray for the soul which is liberated, which has moved beyond, for its journey to be in the higher planes, in peace. May there be peace in the family and friends and the well-wishers. May we get strength to move beyond. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And take a deep breath in and breathe out. You may, whenever you feel complete, open your eyes. We will chant the 15th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita. Shri Bhagavan-uvacha Urdhva-mula-madha shakham Ashvatham prahuyavyam Chandamsi yasya parnani Yastam veda savedavitaha. Shri Bhagavan said, he who knows the pipla tree in the form of creation, which is said to be imperishable, with its roots in the primeval being, whose stem is represented by Brahma, the creator, and whose leaves are the Vedas, is the knower of the purpose of Vedas. Adhascha urdhvam प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखा गुणः प्रवृत्ता विषया प्रवालाः अधश्च मूला न्यनुसन्ततानि कर्माणुबन्धनि मनुष्यलोके. Fed by the three gunas and having sense objects for their tender leaves, the branches of the aforesaid tree in the shape of different orders of creation extend both downwards and upwards, and its roots, which bind the soul according to its actions in the human body, are spread in all regions, higher as well as lower. न रूपमस्ये तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन छित्त्वा. The nature of this tree of creation does not on mature thought turn out what it is represented to be, for it has neither beginning nor end, nor even stability. Therefore, felling this peepla tree, which is most firmly rooted with the formidable acts of dispassion. ततः पदं तत् परिमार्गितव्यम् यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्ति प्रसृता पुराणी. Thereafter, a man should diligently seek for that supreme state by which God, having attained to which they return no more to this world, and having fully resolved that he stands dedicated to that primeval being, God Narayan himself, from whom the flow of this beginningless creation has progressed. He should dwell and meditate upon him. Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha dvandvair vimukta sukha dukkha sangai gacchantya mudha padamavyayam tata. They who are free from pride and delusion, who have conquered the evil of attachment and are in eternal union with God, whose cravings have altogether ceased and who are completely immune from all pairs of opposites, going by the names of pleasure and pain, and are undeluded, attain that supreme immortal state. न तद्भासयते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम. Neither the sun nor the moon nor fire can illumine that supreme self-effulgent state, attaining to which they never return to this world. That is my supreme abode. Mamaivamsho jivaloke jivabhutah sanatanah Manah shashtani indriyani prakritisthani karshyati. The eternal Jivatma in this body is a fragrant of my own being, and that is that alone which draws around itself the mind and the five senses which abide in Prakriti. Shariram yadvapnoti yachapyutkramatiishvaraha grahitvaitani sanyati vayurgandhani vashayat. Even as the wind wafts scents from their seat, so too the Jivatma, which is the controller of the body, taking the mind and the senses from the body which it leaves behind, forthwith migrates to the body which it acquires. Shutram chakshusha sparshanam cha rasanam ghranameva cha adhishtaya manaschayam vishayanupasevate. It is while dwelling in the senses of hearing, sight, touch, taste, and smell, as well as in the mind, that the Jeev Atma enjoys the objects of senses. Utkramantam sthitam vapi bhunjanam va gunanvitam vimudhananu pashyanti gnana chakshushaha. The ignorant know not the soul departing from or dwelling in the body or enjoying the objects of senses, even when it is connected with the three gunas. Only those endowed with the eyes of wisdom are able to realize it. Yatanto yoginaschainam pasyantyatmanyavasthitam yatantopyakritatmano naivam pashyantya chetasah. Striving yogis too are able to realize the self enshrined in their heart. The ignorant, however, whose heart has not been purified, know not this self in spite of their best endeavors. Yadadityagatam tejo jagat bhasayate yachandramasi yachagno tattejo vidhi mamakam. The radiance in the sun that illumines the entire world, and that which shines in the moon, and that which shines in the fire too, know that radiance to be mine. Gama vishya bhutani dharayamyahmojasa pushnami chaushadhi sarva somo bhutva rasatmakaha. And the permeating the soil, it is I who support all the creatures by my vital energy, and becoming the sapful moon, I nourish all plants. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninaam Dehamashritah Pranapanasamaयुक्तः Pachamyannam Chaturvidham. Taking the form of fire as Vaishvanar, lodged in the body of all creatures, and united with the prana, exhalation, and apana, inhalation, breaths, it is I who digest and assimilate the four kinds of food. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto mratah smritirjnanamapo anancha Vedaischa sarve rahamiva vedyo Vedant kritve tavideva chaham. It is I who remain seated in the heart of all creatures as the inner controller of all. And it is I who am the source of memory knowledge, and ratiocinity faculty. Again, I am the only object worth knowing through the Vedas. I alone am the father of Vedanta and the knower of Vedas too. द्वाविमौ पुरुषौ लोके क्षरश्चाक्षर एव च क्षरः सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थोऽक्षर उच्यते. The perishable and the imperishable too. These are the two kinds of Purushas in this world. Of these, the bodies of all beings are spoken of as perishable, while the Jivatma or the embodied soul is called imperishable. Uttamah Purushastvanyah Paramatma Tudharatah Yo Lokatrayamavishya Vibhartavyaya Ishvaraha. Yet the Supreme Person is other than these, who, having encompassed all the three worlds, upholds and maintains all, and has been spoken of as the imperishable Lord and the Supreme Spirit. Yasmat sharamati aksharaadapi chottamaha atosmi loke vede cha pratitah purushottamaha. Since I am wholly beyond the perishable world of matter or kshetra and am superior even to the imperishable soul Jivatma, hence I am known as the Purushottam, the Supreme Self in the world as well as in the Vedas. Yo mamevamasammudho janati purushottamam sarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharatah. Arjun, the wise man who thus realizes me as the Supreme Person, knowing all, he constantly worships me, the all-pervading Lord, with his whole being. इति गुह्यतमं शास्त्र इदमुक्तं मया नघ एतत् बुद्ध्वा बुद्धिमान् स्यात् कृतकृत्यश्च भारतः. Arjun, this most esoteric teaching has thus been imparted by me. Grasping it in essence, man becomes wise, and his mission in life is accomplished. Om Tatsaditi Srimad-Bhagavad-Gitasu Upanishatsu Brahma-Vidyayam Yoga-Shastren Shri Krishna Arjun Samvade Purushottama-Yogo Nam Panchadashodhyayaha. Thus, in the Upanishad sung by the Lord, the science of Brahma, the scripture of yoga, the dialogue between Shri Krishna and Arjuna, ends the 15th chapter, the yoga of the Supreme Person. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Gurudev. हम सभी को भगवद गीता के बारे में पता है. हम इस पृथ्वी पे भारतवर्ष में हैं और ये हमारा सौभाग्य है कि ये ज्ञान जो है हमको मिला है धरोहर में, और इसको चाहे खुशी का पल हो चाहे दुख का पल हो, अगर हम इसको रिविजिट करते हैं और इसका मूल तत्व समझते हैं तो हमारे मन को शांति मिलती है. भगवान ने बताया है और हमारे शास्त्रों ने बताया है कि जीवन निरंतर है और जो मिल जाता है वो जब हम इस वेश में आते हैं, जैसे हम कोई वस्त्र धारण करते हैं वैसा ही है। जैसे हम कपड़े बदलते हैं उसी तरीके से हम अलग अलग शरीरों में आते हैं, और मगर इसके पीछे जो चेतना है वो वैसे के वैसे रहती है, उसका कोई विनाश नहीं है। और जब हम ध्यान में बैठते हैं, उतरते हैं, तो हम उसी चेतना के साथ में अपने आप को एक महसूस करते हैं। मैं आशा करती हूँ कि आज का जो ये छोटा सा ध्यान हमने किया और हमने ये भगवत गीता का 15 चैप्टर जो पढ़ा, उससे हमारे मन में सुकून मिलेगा, उससे हमें एक शांति मिलेगी इस पल से आगे चलने के लिए। पुण्य आत्मा ही होती हैं जो समाज में इतना सब अच्छा काम करती हैं, तो हमारा सौभाग्य है कि हम उनको याद कर रहे हैं और उनकी जर्नी आगे भी मंगलमय हो। इसी प्रार्थना के साथ मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम देती हूँ। ओम शांति।
Good evening, all. Respected Vasudha ji, thank you very much for your session at this tough time, and really it has given some courage to us, all of us, for जो हम सदमे में थे उससे थोड़ा निवृत्ति मिली है, तो really thanks. And Sunil Patodia ji was really a gem of the person, and जितना उनके बारे में कहा जाए उतना कम है हम सबके लिए. So really it was great, and now I request CA Arpit Tabra, Secretary WIRC, to propose a well-deserved vote of thanks. Over to you, Arpit.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Manish bhai. Vasudha, it's always a pleasure to hear you. And today you've created some important lessons from Bhagavad Gita for all of us. I think that's a perfect setup for this memorial lecture. I think every lines that you have mentioned today are really pearls of wisdom. Only if we could put it in context. This webinar is more like a small little medium, but yes, if done in more elaborate manner, these things would really make a lot of sense for each one of us. Sunilji, as Manish Bhai and all other speakers, all other dignitaries in ICI mentioned, he was one such person who used to walk the talk. He ensured that he's been an inspirational figure. One person who could touch and inspire, touch, move, and inspire so many people at the same time. Really, sometimes it is beyond our imagination. A small little experience that when we went to pay last respect to him and his body at his office, every individual, not a single individual who would say that he was not in touch with me. Everyone said, "मेरी अभी इनसे बात हुई, मेरा अभी इनसे ये हुआ, there was this happening, that happening." So it's really sometimes unimaginable that how one person can do so many things at the same point of time in one day. I think the same 24 hours each one of us has. So I think a great personality indeed. If at all we could become whatever he could do, uh, and try and change whatever in small little manner that we can. For all the participants, thank you for joining in. Should you have any questions to Vasudha, you can please post those questions. Um, Also, if you want to send a tribute or whatever, you can please post it in the comment section. We would send that file to the family from WRC. Any other questions, if anyone would have, please feel free to ask Vasudha ji over here. Vasudha, one question that I just received on WhatsApp is, you see a lot of chartered accountants these days, a lot of competition happening, a lot of, so these stress is not really visible, most of the times. So what do you think? How do you, what do you suggest that, as individuals, as professionals, we should keep on doing in order to ascertain, there are some blood tests, medical checkups and everything. But apart from that, maybe on a spiritual level or any other level that you feel that how can we one on our own self analyze, evaluate that are we really in stress or something is not right? What are those small little soft things that we could really focus on?
Yes, Sarpit. So I have, as somebody shared here, been meditating for over 25 years now. And I come from a business family. My father is in business, my husband is in business, and I run my own enterprise too. So I completely understand the competition and the anxiety levels and the ups and downs and the uh, uncertainty that revolves our lives all the time. And because of that, somewhere we forget that one aspect of us which is permanent, which is not changing. If I have to explain this very easily, sometimes when you look at someone after a very long time, like your childhood friend, so you met him 10 years back, and after 10 years back, you see this same person again. You see the person and you feel, oh, you have changed. Oh, your hair have become whiter, or you have become thinner or fatter. You feel the other person has changed so much, but you don't see yourself that you have changed. Often when we take our own photographs from the cupboard, which are like 10 years old, 15 years old, and then you feel, oh, I have changed. Only at those times that you really feel, oh, yes, I have changed. So this is true, that there is something in us which does not change, and that's why we feel like that. Though there's a birthday every year, we feel that is just a day. We don't feel that we are growing somewhere, right? So there's a reference in us which remains just the way it is from the time of birth to the time of death and beyond this, and then again. It is very important that that reference is it's reassuring, it's re-energizing, it's uh, visiting who I am, because a lot of times when we are in that change, we feel, oh, we have moved, oh, that loss has taken away something from me. It's like when you stand on the shore, आप समुद्र किनारे खड़े रहते हैं और आपका पाँव भिगा रहे हैं, तो वो लहरें आती हैं, पाँव के नीचे से थोड़ी मिट्टी ले जाती है और आप वहीं खड़े हैं, right? You're standing right there, but you feel you have moved with the water. Something has shaken you. तो जीवन में ये जो गति है, ये जो बदलाव है, ये हमें बार बार ऐसा फील कराता है कि कुछ जीवन में खत्म हो गया, कुछ चीज जीवन में बदल गया, कुछ जीवन में ऐसा हो गया कि हम वो नहीं हैं जो थे। तो ये बहुत जरूरी है कि हम रोज जिस तरीके से स्नान लेते हैं वैसे ही कुछ समय निकालें। मैं जानती हूँ समय हमारे लिए बहुत अनमोल है, इसीलिए मैं ये कह रही हूँ कि कुछ समय निकालें उस सत्य के साथ जुड़ने का जो मैं हूँ, क्योंकि जब हम उस सत्य से जुड़ते हैं, कुछ क्षण उसमें रहते हैं, तो हमें अंदर से विश्वास जगता है, हमें अंदर से एक ऊर्जा मिलती है, हमें वो जो एक धूल की परत है जो रोज जम जाती है हमारे जीवन में। देखिए, अच्छा बुरा, ऊंचा नीचा, लॉस प्रॉफिट्स, ये सब जीवन में चलते ही रहेंगे, पर उसके साथ हमारे जीवन में एक फोटोग्राफिक प्लेट के जैसे मन के अंदर में इम्प्रेशंस छूटते जाते हैं, वो ही हमें मुस्कुराने से रोकते हैं, वो इतने बढ़ जाते हैं मन में कि साफ साफ जीवन दिखता ही नहीं है। तो बहुत जरूरी है कि जैसे हम शरीर को स्नान देते हैं, वैसे ही इस मिट्टी को हटाएं, और इसके लिए कुछ समय 15-20 मिनट रोज बैठ के ध्यान करना एकदम आवश्यक है। आप कभी ये नहीं कहेंगे कि मैं स्नान लेने का समय नहीं लेता, मगर आपने बाहर से अपने आप को साफ कर लिया, मगर अंदर की वो मिट्टी जो दूसरे नहीं देख पा रहे मगर आप अनुभव कर पा रहे हैं, वो तो है। तो उसको साफ करना जरूरी है, उसके लिए रोज ध्यान करना जरूरी है। सबसे अच्छी बात है कि हमें हिमालय पर नहीं जाना, सब कुछ नहीं छोड़ना, जो हम कर रहे हैं उसी सब के साथ, वो सारी जिम्मेदारियों के साथ में हम वो कुछ समय निकालें, वापस लौटें, अपने ही साथ जुड़े। मैं कौन हूँ, मैं क्या हूँ, उसमें वापस बार बार लौटें, तो फिर एक शक्ति, मनोबल जीवन में रहता है। जो ये स्ट्रेसेस हम लेके घूमते रहते हैं, जो हाइपरटेंशन, डायबिटीज और कितनी तरीके की नाम हमने उनको दे रखे हैं, मैं नहीं समझती कि ये विजडम है। मतलब आप सब मतलब सीए पार करना ही, मेरे को बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स हैं जो सीए बन रहे होते हैं, और मैं देखती हूँ कि 20-25 साल, कई बार वो थोड़े उम्र में ज्यादा भी होते हैं, मगर वो इतने ज्यादा ब्रोकन होते हैं अंदर से, उनका कॉन्फिडेंस शेकन अप होता है, उनको मतलब देख के ही ऐसा लगता है कि उनसे जीवन ऐसे निकाल दिया गया हो। तो ऐसा जीवन जीने के लिए आप इसको सक्सेस तो नहीं कहेंगे। आप सीए बन गए मगर आपकी मुस्कान छूट गई, आप दुनिया के सबसे रिचेस्ट व्यक्ति बन गए मगर आप मुस्कुराते ही नहीं हैं, तो फिर इसको तो आप सच में सक्सेस नहीं कहेंगे। तो मैं ऐसा, मतलब ये हमारी एक धरोहर है कि जो भारत देश के अंदर हमारे यहाँ से योग, प्राणायाम, ध्यान पूरी दुनिया तक जा रहा है। इसका लाभ सभी सीए यहाँ पे जितने भी उपस्थित गेस्ट हैं सबको लेना चाहिए। कुछ ये आसान नहीं होता, एक डिसिप्लिन लाना होता है, जैसे कि आपने जीवन में और डिसिप्लिन रखे हैं और उससे आपको एक फायदा होता है। डेफिनेटली अगर आप मेडिटेट करते हैं तो आपको उसी दिन, उसी क्षण, अभी आपको पता है, आपने 15-20 मिनट आंखें बंद करके आप बैठे, उसमें ही कुछ बदल गया अंदर। तो ये करते रहना, साथ साथ जीवन में लेके चलना, ये एकदम आवश्यक है। और जितनी ज्यादा गति है और जितना ज्यादा आपका जिम्मेदारी है, उतना ज्यादा ये जरूरी है इसको करना। this is what my answer is.
Right. So discipline again and meditation. So discipline for meditation. I think that is what is required. Santosh Shetty ji has also a similar question. So Sunil ji, for example, was just 53. So you never know when is that enough age. So when do we say बस हो गया, बहुत हो गया, या age हो गई, या क्या मतलब I don't see any definition coming up. So Santosh ji is a question to ask कि when should we say कि enough बस करें अब.
तो अगर आपने ये भगवत गीता का इस चैप्टर में भगवान ने अर्जुन को यही कहा कि डिस्पैशन से हमें उस रूट को काटना है जो हमें छोटी चीजों में अटका के रखती है। छोटी चीजें क्या है? जो बदलती भी रहती हैं, आज है कल नहीं है ना। तो ये डिस्पैशन जो है ना, जब हम किसी को खोते हैं तब वो एक वैराग्य हमारे अंदर आ जाता है। जब हम देखते हैं कि हाँ ये सब टेम्पररी है, तब हमारे अंदर एक वैराग्य जगता है जो दुख से जगता है। मगर एक वैराग्य ऐसा भी है जो मैच्योरिटी से जगता है, जो एवोल्यूशन से जगता है। जब आपको लगता है हाँ सुख है दुख है, हम दोनों जीवन का दोनों गति अपने आप चली रही है और चलती ही रहेगी और ये निरंतर है। कभी अच्छा भी होगा और कभी बुरा भी होगा, कभी लॉसेस भी होंगे, कभी गेन्स भी होंगे, और ये तो रहने ही वाला है जीवन में। तब जब आप ये सब देखते हैं एक दृष्टा होके, थोड़ा उस परिस्थिति से दूर जाके, तो आप बोलते हैं अच्छा इसके परे भी कुछ है क्या। ये जो प्रश्न आता है अंदर से हमारे, वो डिस्पैशन के कारण आता है कि हाँ ठीक है मैंने सब तो अनुभव कर लिया जीवन में, अब इसके आगे भी कुछ है क्या जीवन में। वो जो एक तलाश हमारे अंदर जगती है, वो जो एक प्यास उठती है, उसको ही हम मतलब एक मार्ग हमें मिल जाता है परमात्मा की ओर देखने का। और ये बहुत जरूरी है कि ये बदलते हुए संसार के अंदर हम कुछ समय बैठ जाएं। मतलब ये प्रश्न अभी आया है, पर कल आपको एक दूसरा टारगेट होगा, आपके सामने कोई दूसरा प्रोजेक्ट होगा और हम भूल जाएंगे, है ना। तो ये डिस्पैशन और पैशन लाइफ के दोनों अंग हैं, और दोनों को हम काम में है तो पूरा पैशनेट होके हम काम करें, पर कुछ समय वो ध्यान के अंदर डिस्पैशन में चले जाएं, तो फिर हमें वो अनुभव आने लग जाता है कि क्या है वो चेतना जो पूरे संसार को चला रही है। क्या मैं ही चला रहा हूं? अच्छा कल कोई यहाँ था, मुझसे बात कर रहा था, आज नहीं है। वो क्या था, कौन था, वो अब कहाँ है। मैं अभी किसी से बात कर रहा हूँ, कल का पता नहीं। वो क्या है जो कहाँ चला जाएगा, किससे मिल जाएगा, वो क्या है। एक प्रश्न हमारे अंदर, उसको हम जनरली भर देते हैं। ये जो खाली स्पेस हमारे अंदर बनती है, उसको हम आवाजों से भर देते हैं, क्योंकि हमें उसके उत्तर नहीं मिलते। आप लोग सीए हैं, आपने बहुत सारे उत्तर जीवन में ढूंढे हैं, बहुत सारे कैलकुलेशंस किए हैं, और किसी एक प्रश्न को ऐसे छोड़ा नहीं है। तो जिस तरीके से आपने आपके प्रोफेशन में सिंसियरिटी रखी है, वैसे ही अगर मनुष्य जीवन मिला है तो क्या सिर्फ इसलिए ही मिला है कि हम ये जो हमारा 5 लोगों का 10 लोगों का परिवार है उसको हम चलाएं, या जो भी हम हमारी जिम्मेदारियां हैं उसको निभा के यहाँ से चले जाएं। क्या हम इसीलिए यहाँ आए हैं, या कुछ और है जीवन में पाने योग्य, डिस्कवर करने योग्य, कुछ है जो हमें स्थिरता से दे सकता है। ये सब कुछ प्रश्न हैं जो शायद हमें कुछ और सब्सटैंशियल लाइफ में दे पाए, जो आपके बैलेंस शीट में नहीं है। शायद वो प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस के बियॉन्ड है, बट शायद वही सत्य है। यस सर।
एक्चुअली हम भी आजकल यही बोल रहे हैं उस्ताद जी, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स को भी बियॉन्ड प्रॉफिट, बियॉन्ड बैलेंस शीट, बियॉन्ड कंप्लायंसेस के जाते रहो। तो आपने एक और एंगल दे दिया कि आई थिंक बियॉन्ड 5 और 10 लोग जो आपके हैं उनके बियॉन्ड भी जाते रहो। तो एक क्वेश्चन पूछा है शीतल जी शर्मा ने कि ड्यूरिंग मेडिटेशन व्हाई डू वी फील लाइक क्राइंग। और रजनीश जी पांडे ने भी पूछा व्हाट इज लाइफ आफ्टर डेथ। आई थिंक बोथ आर रिलेटेड, सो आई थॉट while meditating why one feels like crying, so and life after death.
तो ऐसा हो सकता है कि हम हर ध्यान का एक अलग अनुभव होता है। ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है कि हर बार जब हम ध्यान करें तो हमें रोना आए, मगर हमारे अंदर एक बिल्डअप इमोशंस रहते हैं, वो हमारे अंदर बिल्डअप नहीं रहने चाहिए। जब हम छोटे बच्चे थे, अपने स्वभाव में थे, तो हम रो देते थे और अगले ही पल आप ध्यान करें, एक छोटा बच्चा है, वो रोता है, उसके आंख का आंसू नहीं हटा होता और वो जोर जोर से हंस रहा होता है। तो ये जो इमोशंस हैं, ये हमारे से बाहर आना बहुत जरूरी है। वो जब सॉलिडिफाई हो जाते हैं, जो वो बर्फ जैसे हमारे अंदर बन जाते हैं, तो कहीं वो ऑब्स्ट्रक्ट कर देते हैं लाइफ को हमारे अंदर, है ना। तो जब हम ध्यान करते हैं तो उस समय अगर आपके अंदर कोई बिल्डअप इमोशन है तो वो निकल जाता है, वो हम रो लेते हैं तो खाली हो जाते हैं, हल्के हो जाते हैं। जनरली स्पेशली मेन, यू नो, दे फील अरे हम कैसे रोएं। ऐसा नहीं है, ये एक यूनिवर्स का मतलब मैनकाइंड को वो है कि आप अपने इमोशंस को लेट गो कर सकते हो with that those tears which are flowing. It is natural, let them flow. Just like when you laugh, you don't think, just that in the same way if you cry, even that is fine. Yeah. So yes, अगर आपको रोना आया ध्यान के वक्त तो वो ठीक है, मगर ऐसा नहीं है कि हमेशा आपको वही अनुभव हो। अनुभव बदलते रहेंगे आपके मनोस्थिति पर, आपकी चेतना में उस समय आपको क्या जरूरत है, उसके अकॉर्डिंग आपका अनुभव ध्यान का रहेगा। जो दूसरा प्रश्न था, जीवन, लाइफ क्या है डेथ के आगे, तो गुरुदेव ने एक बहुत सुंदर उपनिषद पे डिस्कोर्स दिया है, कठोपनिषद। मैं रिकमेंड करूंगी कि आप लोग समय निकाल के उसके बारे में उस डिस्कोर्स को सुने। उसमें गुरुदेव ने पूरा बताया है कि किस तरीके से चेतना यहाँ से आगे ट्रैवल करती है। उन्होंने ये जरूर कहा है कि एक बहुत फ्रीइंग एक्सपीरियंस होता है, हमें डर लगता है डेथ से, मगर उन्होंने कहा है कि वो बहुत मेडिटेटिव एक्सपीरियंस होता है, बहुत ही फ्रीइंग एक्सपीरियंस होता है। और जब वो सोल वापस शरीर की ओर देखता है तो उसको इच्छा भी नहीं होती, उसको वो एक एक्सक्रीशन जैसे लगता है, यूज्ड क्लॉथ जैसे लगता है, उसको इच्छा भी नहीं होती वापस उस क्लॉथ में को धारण करने की। तो उन्होंने बहुत कुछ ऐसी बातें बताई हैं उस उपनिषद में, जो हमें मतलब वो जो मिस्टिकल बातें हैं जो हमें नहीं पता, या जो हमें परेशान करती हैं, या जो हमें एक डर का भाव देती हैं, उससे आगे ले जाएं। तो बहुत सुंदर डिस्कोर्स है कठोपनिषद का, हम जरूर उसका लाभ लें।
There's another question. So if we don't have, do we really need money to do the NGO activities, or how can we associate ourselves in doing some? I mean, there's a long question, so I'm just trying to summarize it. So do we really need money to do these NGO activities, or how can we really associate and do something without spending much in monetary wise?
तो सेवा एक भाव है। पहली बात, सेवा एक भाव है जहाँ हम एक भाव रखते हैं कि हम सेल्फलेसली, बिना कुछ एक्सपेक्टेशन के, जो हमें मिल रहा है और समाज से, वातावरण से हमें बहुत कुछ मिल रहा है, हम रोज ग्रहण कर रहे हैं, ले रहे हैं। जो आप लोग डेट होता है आपके बैलेंस शीट में, राइट, तो वो एक डेट कॉलम है, वो बनता ही जा रहा है क्योंकि हम यहाँ से लेते ही जा रहे हैं, रिश्तों में, लोगों से, तो कुछ हमें लौटाना होता है, राइट। So as a feeling of gratefulness that, oh, I have received so much, when we give back without expecting anything in return. बिजनेस में ऐसा नहीं, सीए के अंदर तो सब आपने यहाँ इन्वेस्ट किया तो उतना आपको रिटर्न मिलना चाहिए, और इतना किया तो इतना, प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस में ही हम रहते हैं। पर जब वहां पे दिया और सोचा नहीं फिर इसका क्या बाहर मेरे लिए निकला, उसी को, उस भाव को ही सेवा कहते हैं, राइट। तो having said that, एक empty bowl के साथ में तो आप जाके समाज में कल्याण का काम नहीं कर सकते। इसीलिए लक्ष्मी और नारायण कभी भी विरुद्ध में नहीं है। नारायण ज्ञान का स्वरूप है, पर लक्ष्मी की आवश्यकता होती है। लक्ष्मी कई प्रकार की होती है, सिर्फ मॉनेटरी लक्ष्मी नहीं, आपका समय भी लक्ष्मी है, right? Your time is a kind of wealth. So your skills are a wealth. So you can, with your skills, your time, your money, in whatever way, contribute back, and that's a contribution. And the beauty is कि आप जो भी सेवा में अर्पित कर रहे होते हैं, अर्पित का नाम आ गया, वो वापस लौट के हमें मल्टीपल टाइम्स मिल रहा होता है इन फॉर्म्स ऑफ ब्लेसिंग्स। एंड ये मेरा अनुभव रहा है कि जब भी जीवन में सबसे मुश्किल समय रहे हैं, चैलेंजिंग समय रहे हैं, तब वो ब्लेसिंग्स जो आपके काम आती हैं, इट इज लाइक nothing else. All your bank balance is lying over there, but those blessings help you. तो डेफिनेटली ये जीवन मिला है तो ये ब्लेसिंग्स इकट्ठा करने के लिए भी मिला है, क्योंकि ये ब्लेसिंग्स जो है ये यहाँ से आगे भी आपके साथ जाएंगी। तो गुरुदेव ऐसा कहते हैं कि जो हमारा मन है, वो मन में जो छाप पड़ी हुई है, वो हमारे जो कर्म है वो हमारे साथ में यहाँ से आगे जाएंगे। तो यस, हम बहुत पैसे कमाएं, हम यहाँ मटेरियल में बहुत सक्सेस पाएं, पर उसके साथ साथ अपने मनोस्थिति को भी एक सुंदर मनोस्थिति में रहें, उसके लिए इन्वेस्टमेंट करें और कुछ ब्लेसिंग्स भी इकट्ठा करते रहें जीवन में, ताकि वो वेल्थ हमारे साथ यहाँ से आगे भी जाएगी। सो आई वुड से दैट ये जो मैथ है, ये तो सिर्फ यहाँ के प्रॉफिट लॉस की बात नहीं है, ये तो इसके आगे के प्रॉफिट लॉस की बात भी है। सो इट्स अ वाइज इन्वेस्टमेंट।
Wonderful. The reality is bitter. So how to live with such bitter realities? Himal Thakkar has asked this question.
Reality is reality. You have called it bitter and sweet, and we name all of this. We name birth as sweet. We name death as bitter, and we name some things as better than the others. If we sometimes look at life from a wider perspective, थोड़ा सा जैसे I would say, जैसे आप एरोप्लेन में जा रहे हैं, थोड़ा सा आपका डिस्टेंस है, आप नीचे देख रहे हैं, तो आपको अर्पित नॉइस। क्या? तो मैं ये कह रही थी कि जब आप एक वाइडर पर्सपेक्टिव से लाइफ को देखते हैं, तो आप देखते हैं सब सही ही हो रहा है। जब भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने अपना विराट रूप दिखाया था अर्जुन को, तो उसके अंदर में कितने ही जीव उनसे बर्थ हो रहा था और कितने ही जीव उनमें वापस जा रहे थे। सो इट इज ऑल रिसाइकलिंग, इट इज ऑल a phenomena which is happening all the time. We have to, of course, we are in one dimension, one reality, where we are a friend to someone, we are a family to someone, we are experiencing that loss, that pain, but we have to look at life sometimes from a wider perspective and see that how much is being created, how much is dying, and the moment we are born, all the 5 elements, whatever is inside us, is going to merge back, and it has come from there. So we need to it's the truth, it's the truth of life, and we need to understand that truth. And there is so much. That's why our Upanishads and our Vedas and our scriptures have a wealth of knowledge, जो हमने उनको टच नहीं किया, जिनको हमने देखा नहीं. We must revisit these for being able to reach that bigger mindset, being able to see that larger dimension of life, क्योंकि आप जब वो एरोप्लेन में बैठे हैं तो नीचे आपको सब अच्छा ही, सब ठीक ही दिख रहा है। तो क्रिएशन में जो इतनी सारी चीजें हो रही है, वो कुछ तरीके से सब कुछ को बैलेंस करके चल रही है। वो कैसे चल रही है, इट्स जस्ट अ वंडर, you can just be feeling wonder about it. So yes, at one level there is this feeling, and on the other hand there is also a truth. Yeah.
Why don't we get a choice to accept this reality or not to accept this reality?
Mm. See, we must understand that acceptance is something which helps us move forward. If we want to be stuck where we are, we may question why this, But life is continuous. It's like the flowing river, है ना? तो आगे निकलना ही है। हमारे शास्त्रों में बहुत ही अच्छे से सब चीज को एक्सप्लेन किया गया है। अभी ये जो 13 दिन होते हैं, ये मौन के लिए, शोक के लिए दिए गए हैं, because the soul is adjusting in the other realm and the family is taking time. तो वो जैसे जैसे अपने आप उनकी आगे गति होती है, आपको भी यहाँ पे सोलेस फील होने लग जाता है। It takes a time to adapt to that whole vacuum which has been created, This, anything, any loss, anything in our lives can take us to a question, or it can take us to our next step in evolution, So it is your choice. Definitely, it is your choice. But you have to see that acceptance is taking you forward, and not accepting something is making you stuck. So that's a choice that you have to make. And it does happen. God somehow heals those wounds and takes us forward from where we are. Somehow it does happen for us. Yeah.
Sudhaji Bhushan has asked a question. What can we do to make a person happy after death? She asks, where do they go and why? I think that you have answered, but what can we do to make a person happy after death? And have you experienced such a pain? And what have you done?
Of course, of course. So that is why I recommended Kato Upanishad, if we can read it. In fact, वो जो पूरी हमारी rituals हैं in the Hindu Sanatan Dharma, where we offer food, so to the poor, and we do so many things, right? So many rituals are there. A lot of them have a scientific reason behind them. And देखो, जो blessings होती है, अभी हमने मिलके प्रार्थना की, chantings is something that really works wonders. तो मैं ये कहूंगी कि घर में chantings चलाना, वो sounds, वो vibrations, everything is a vibration actually. तो अच्छी vibrations होना, chantings चलाना, that's what bhajans we do during this time. It brings a sense of peace in your heart and in the hearts of the departed. So definitely that is recommended. And some kind of a charity, उनके नाम से आप कुछ दे रहे हैं, कहीं कोई bless हो रहा है, किसी के दिल में सुकून आ रहा है उस कारण से, और उससे वो blessing निकल रही है, definitely it reaches the other level. Your meditation, when you meditate and you are in that samadhi sthiti, when you pray and you bless that soul, definitely merit of your meditations are passing on. Not only someone who's just departed, but when you meditate, आपके जो पित्र हैं, आपके जो ancestors हैं, उनको भी उसका पुण्य मिल रहा होता है. So there is a science behind this, and a lot of these things can help. Please visit the Kato Upanishad. It's a very scientific, way that Gurudev has, broken down the entire, so such difficult scriptures for us to understand and take whatever we feel is useful in our lives. So yes, you must do that. Of course, losses we've all faced, right? It's not that, and I completely understand what everyone is going through. I could feel your pain when I entered the room so much, and that's why we started with a prayer, right? So it's very, very understandable. Right now, when the emotions are in forefront, intellect will not really help. So that's why let the emotions flow, let them settle down, and with time they will settle down, right? तो अभी वो ज्ञान भी शायद काम ना आए, but yeah, chantings and music and all of this will really help.
Kathopanishad is on YouTube, or how do we? So where do we find that? Where do we see that?
I know for
Is
sure
there a
it
book?
is on Art of Living app. There is an app of Art of Living. I know for sure it is over there. There are also CDs of Kathopanishad. There are also books of Kathopanishad by Gurudev. The books and CDs you may find online and you can order from there. Otherwise, the app is something you can download on your phone. So on my phone, I watch Gurudev's knowledge on the app. It's very handy.
Katho, Upanishad, right?
Katho, Katho Upanishad.
Perfect. I think yes, more or less we covered all the questions. Suman Kumari ji has asked another question. I think you've answered that. How do I end my? How do I? What should we do apart from our office and family to feel that my life is successful, and how can I end it happily?
Yeah. So Gurudev says only two things will go from here, as I already said. One is the love that you carry, the good work that you have done in the world, yeah, and the mind that you carry, the impressions that you carry, right? So we must work on the quality of our mind. यहाँ पे लेके वो छोटी 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 बातें हम इतनी इकट्ठी करते रहते हैं अपने जीवन के अंदर में, क्या वो आपको सच में रिच बना रही है, या are they worth letting go of? So it's very important that we take time off to let go of those unwanted debt in our life, so that we carry a happy mind from here. So sadhana is very important. That's why it's called sadhana, real wealth, sadhana, the real wealth, which you acquire when you meditate, you give time to connecting back to who you are again and again, and then by itself those things which grip you, that those hatreds, those aversions, those anger that built up in emotions inside, they start losing their hold on you, and you start feeling lighter by the day. So your mind starts becoming uh, you know very kind of fresh and alive and in a positive state naturally. And when that happens, it's a very जब भी हम खुश होते हैं तो हम वही बांट रहे होते हैं, जो हमारे पास होता है हम वही बांट सकते हैं. तो जब हम गुस्सा होते हैं, स्ट्रेस्ड होते हैं, तो हमें पता भी नहीं होता है, मगर वही हम बांट रहे होते हैं. और जब हम खुश होते हैं, सुकून में होते हैं, तो हम वही बांट रहे होते हैं. तो पहली जिम्मेदारी तो हमें खुश होने में है, वो सुकून में आने में है, फिर हम वही, that is what we are giving to others, right? So that वो एक जिम्मेदारी हमारी जो अपने प्रति है उसको जरूर निभाएं. तो definitely I think when we pass on from here, when we look back, we'll say, हाँ, I did what I could and I've done the best. Yeah. Seems like it. I can just say seems right. Isn't it?
I just remember Guruji used to always say there are only two kind of people in this world, or there will be only two kind of people: one who meditate and the others who are trying to meditate. So there cannot be a third person now. So I think that's a wonderful summary of whatever that we are doing, whatever that we've done today in this in this memorial lecture in the fond memory to pay our last respect to the departed soul of Shri Sunilji Patodia. There are many questions. If these people want to reach out to you, how can they? If you can share your maybe your Instagram handle or Twitter. I think you are active everywhere, and we just have to look and search for you, and you are always there for us. If anyone else would need to find out, please share your handles, Vasudha, so that they could reach out to you.
So, Mamta, could we do that? Is Mamta here?
She's here. Actually, Jayesh Bhai has been asking question difference between happiness and success. Maybe the last question, if you want to answer. In the meantime, Mamta, if you can just set
Please
up
say that again. What was the
difference
question?
between happiness and success. Jayesh Bhai has asked the question. Jayesh Pipalwa, sir.
I think if you are happy, you are successful. They're synonymous. And if you are unhappy, then definitely you are not successful. If you're stressed, you are not successful. Yeah. So I think the race has to be for the happiness, and success will follow.
Right. So the just share your Instagram handle, no? Because I think
Mamta could help us with this wish. So I have a
friends,
blog. I have a blog, vasudhajhunjhunwala.com. vasudhajhunjhunwala.com, and you could share my email ID if anyone wants to write to me. That's vasudha.jhunjhunwala@kpa.co.in. Should I repeat that?
Jhunjhunwala@kpo. Yeah, I was just doing that.
KPA.
kpa.co.in. I would be, we'll send that out also in the messenger, in the chat box, so that you can all take the most use of it. And she's also a very senior art of living faculty, so you can reach out to her, and maybe participate in her happiness programs and other programs of meditation that she carries on. Apart from this, anyone who will be interested, because there's some questions they would want to associate with, as it was read out in your introduction, that you do some more activities, and also if at all you may please reach out to her. And I think a wonderful lecture, perfect tribute from the WIRC. As a secretary of this council, it really I feel really blessed that we could have this session with Vasudha over here, and may Sunilji always keep guiding us and inspiring us. I think we have a lot to learn from him, and it is you always said the impact is felt with the absence. So I think in his absence now, we'll try and we'll understand a lot of things, and the impact will dawn upon us. So let's figure it out. And as Vasudha mentioned, let it settle down. When emotions are high, intellect usually takes a back seat. So let's settle down and probably try and learn and make the most out of it. Let's stay in touch. Get in touch with your near and dear ones. Just say hi. Someone asked a question. What if someone passes off in an accident and he or she doesn't get a chance to interact with their loved ones? How do we communicate with them? So I don't know, Vasudha, if you want to have a take on that, we
I would just recommend that we watch the Kato. Gurudev has talked about all these aspects, different aspects of death, or different types of passing away, and how to deal with each. So yeah, let the perfected being guide us, and that's the Guru. So That's what I would suggest.
Right. Thank you everyone for joining with us. It was wonderful having you all here and having this wonderful interactions with you. Stay in touch for any further suggestions or any feedback, any inputs. Please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you Vasudha once again. Thank you Mamta for setting this all up. Thank you Subhash Mishra and Vaibhav for setting up the logistics, and Chairman sir. I think really the architect of this entire program today, who really thought of that, let's set up this tribute to Shri Sunilji Patodia. So thank you once again, everyone. Hope you all have a good life. Believe me, WRC has tied up with various hospitals, Leelavati and Kokilaben, for their complete medical packages. If you feel any sort of uneasiness, please don't take a chance. Please go out and test yourself. Please go out and get yourself checked up. We have a wonderful plan that we have tied up with the hospital for a complete health checkup for both male and female. And just take care of yourself. Swasth raho, mast raho, vyast raho. Thank you. Jai Gurudev. Mishaji, please stop the recording and upload for further viewing.
Okay, sir.